All right. This episode of We Gotta Believe is brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. As always, everything's getting a little better, a little normal, a little warmer outside. The spring has sprung. But you know what? Shit's still going to hit the fan, as always. Again, we've said it a million times. Weddings. Kyle, I think, is down from 5 weddings, down from last year's 12, which is a ridiculous fucking number. Kev just got back from Captain Con, so having to hang out with Captain Cons, that's not fun.
The worst.
You know what? Yeah, the worst thing ever. Graduation, spring sports, all that stuff. And let's be honest, New York Mets baseball. We're positive. We're happy. We're excited. We're in the Steve Cohen era, but it's still baseball. We're going to lose our minds from the first inning to the 9th, even to the ghost runner 10th. But you know what? You got to get the beer that's made to chill. Those Blue Mountains are still there for us. And Coors Light is cold lager, cold filter, and cold package. It's literally made to chill. So when I need to take a second for myself, I reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/rocket. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. I don't know why I can't say that phrase anymore, but I have a mental block on it. But you know what? It's fine. Why is it fine? Because Steve Cohen just saved New York baseball and the Brooklyn Nets playoff hopes. Report came out last night. It was a fucking Woj Passan fucking Dudley Boys double team story reveal. It was craziness. It was a Passan bomb. It was a Passan nuke, a Woj bomb. Baseball is coming back, and with that, the unvaccinated public-private sector, whatever the fuck it is, where people can't play. Kyrie can buy a seat in the front row, but he can't step on the court and play basketball. That is going to be eliminated in a matter of minutes. I think they're making the announcement at 11:30 a.m. today at Citi Field. And people were connecting dots. I saw the Bloomberg article that was going around. And then this was the quote, Meek sent it out. Among those lobbying City Hall on behalf of the Nets are the Parkside Group and former City Council Speaker Corey Johnson. According to the public record, the Mets is owned by Steve Cohen, who donated $1.5 million to a political action campaign backing Johnson.
$1.5 million. We say this a lot with Steve Cohen. 1.5 million is legitimately couch change. Like that is, he probably paid that in cash, dropped off a duffel bag at the mayor's office and said, is that all it's going to take? Okay, here you go. Get rid of this nonsense. When Steve Cohen signed with the Mets or bought the Mets, we said he has a chance to be a New York Met immortal icon legend, of course. But he also had a chance to become a New York legend. And he's already doing it because right now, as much as I hate to admit it, he might have saved the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets might fucking, for all we know, take off now. As much as I hate to admit it, Aaron Judge and the Yankees are benefiting from Uncle Stevie. Right now, Stephen Cohen is the most important and powerful man in New York City. And that's a motherfucking fact. He sways fucking decisions that people have been agonizing over for years. He's just like, yeah, let me come in and fix this. Here you go. Bingo, bango, bongo. Clean this up in a minute. He has power like that, dude. And it's the very beginning. It's still like year one, basically. It's unbelievable what this guy's going to do for this team, this city, this fucking world. He's going to be president one day.
My buddy, one of my Cohen sources here, he texted me this morning. He goes, "It's official. Steve Cohen has reached a level of unstoppable. Remember these times? It's the infancy of a dynasty."
Yes,
just like a casual text at fucking 9:07 on a Thursday morning. And you said it, Kev. So first of all, the Nets thing was always just kind of like crazy to watch from afar. As a Knicks fan, which like everyone's vaccinated and we suck, and then they can't have one of the best players in basketball step on the court. It was like kind of like funny watching from a distance. Kevin Durant's like subtweeting or just like tweeting how much bullshit it is. And then Steve Cohen comes in, like you said, Thanos snaps his fingers, gets it done. Eric Adams, the mayor, who is like crazy, like the entertainment factor with this guy is just wild, right? He has the mayor jacket. All this crazy shit. He was like, you know what? He's not getting any kind of like heat from anybody because nobody gives a fuck about the Nets here, right? Can you imagine if like Emmanuel Quickly couldn't play for the Knicks? People would be going crazy. People would be going nuts. No one gave a shit about the Nets. The Nets were about to like go embark on the playoffs half the fucking time without their star point guard. Steve Cohen comes in, cleans up the shit. I bet Hal Steinbrenner was probably like, shit, no, like if Aaron Judge can't play home games with his service time, there's a chance he won't hit free agency on time. He's probably like saving all his little money. I'm going to say it right now. I know the Knicks will never admit. I think Steve Cohen earned it first.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Put him in the
without even like breaking a sweat. Like he's just barely got going. He's had like a little bit of a Twitter spat here and there, a little bit of the Daily News talking some shit. Other than that, it's been smooth sailing. And he's just like, oh, what? This is easy. You guys, this was like a big deal for you guys? Oh, I can do this, no problem. It must be funny for him when we like explode like this and suck his dick and everyone gets so excited and so happy. And he's like, for this, like, guys, I made $14 million in my life. Hard. This is legislation. Like, yeah, this is light work for Steve Cohen, and he does it all from the distance in his shadows with his little smile, that weird teeth and those glasses, and he's just like, "Yep, I'm the most powerful man here." There he is. There, look at that beautiful face. Look at that beautiful face.
The King of New York. That's why we promoted these shirts. We called him the King of New York when he fucking got the team the first time. This was a fucking call your shot, man.
Yep.
$1.5 million. That's the equivalent of like throwing $20 to the kid standing outside the grocery store trying to like fund his travel baseball team. He's like, oh, that's it. I get a direct line to the mayor, who, by the way, is a Mets fan, because he had his introductory press conference. He was like, yeah, I expect to see the Mets in the World Series 2022. Mm-hmm. So, like, you got the inside track of that because the last dickhead was trying to block him from even buying the team. So now you have, like, all of these pieces coming together right at the right time. The fact that the Nets have been playing this long and they haven't been able to just force their hand when the new mayor came in. It's like, he literally all he did was pick up the phone and was like, let's turn this off. Like, change the menu. Oh, all right, sounds good.
He was like, okay, sounds good.
You can get them on the phone.
That's how much the Nets matter or don't matter. Like, they matter so little that they had a franchise-type player just told he was unable to play, and nobody did anything about it. And as soon as there was, like, a whisper that Jacob Degrom and Max Scherzer might not be able to pitch at home, it was like, get the checkbook out. We're ending this immediately.
He's like, of I'm doing my research, or I don't want to answer that, and then we're like, I am done with fucking the investigation of who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated. That goes in the fucking rear view. COVID's dead. Celebrate in the streets.
Could you imagine Brandon Nimmo talking about God and the Bible and how he doesn't want to get the fucking vaccine and shit? It would have been a fucking nightmare. That's the biggest thing that we dodged here. Not forget about playing on the field. It's all the off the field talk that would have absolutely killed me.
Yeah, Mark Gooden would have been feasted. And shout out Mark Gooden. He is crushing right now on Twitter. He's
Gooden's having a fucking field day. I saw Craig Carton stepped into the mousetrap on picture copyright rule of 1976.
So all is good. All is good right now in Mets land.
I really think, like, especially with not even trolling, not being an asshole, with what the Yankees are putting out there, where they're not like, we're going to do whatever it takes to win a championship. We're worried about money. We don't have the budget. With what Steve Cohen is putting out there and where the rest of New York sports is, like, this town is his for the taking. If the Mets play good, if the Mets are in it, if they're contenders, if they win it, and the rest of these teams aren't, the only thing to like be excited about in New York will be the Mets. And when it's a Mets town, you know, obviously there's always more Yankee fans, but Mets fans are fucking rabid, loudmouth, idiot assholes. And when we're on top, it is going to be, if we're on top, it's going to be loud and rowdy, and it's going to be all because of one dude who's going to get all of the credit. So like when this city is rocking solely because of the Mets and Steve Cohen, like he legitimately will be a like iconic New York City figure.
That you called for it, Kev. You said, like, you wrote the open letter. Remember, you're like, this is your call to action. This is your time. Become a fucking legend instead of just like finance bros probably looked up to him back in the day. I had never heard his name, and now he is the king of New York. And I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure Aaron Judge, all fucking 6 feet 100 of him, is bowing the knee and saying, "Thank you, Uncle Stevie. I don't want Microsoft chips in my fucking blood."
Aaron Judge should pick up the phone and call Uncle Stevie, or call Uncle Stevie's assistant. There's no way he has a direct line to Uncle Steve, and say, "Thank you, Mr. Cohen. You're my daddy."
Well, Aaron Judge is a free agent this offseason. Well, next offseason, I mean. So you never know. Maybe that's some tampering.
Wouldn't that be absolutely incredible if the Yankees couldn't pay Aaron Judge and we were like, I guess we'll take you over here. Oh,
He's a fourth outfielder.
His formation in George, if he ever went and got him, because that's something George would do. That was like the whole thing was we just have to be better than the team across town. Like I remember the story in the Subway Series World Series. He flat out told Cashman, like, you're fired if we don't win this season.
Win. Yep.
What do you mean? We just won like 98 games. It was a great season. He's like, I don't give a fuck about that. He's like, we're not losing the city to those guys. Yep. And like, if you have that mentality and you have that paycheck and that book, you're ready to go.
Yeah. So shout out Uncle Stevie, gets the fucking job done as he always does. Nothing to be surprised about. In Mets land now, enough about the broke boys. Pete Alonso got paid. The fucking when all those arbitration things are going on, arbitration Twitter is like the weirdest state in Twitter.
It's terrible.
I saw Nationals and Juan Soto have agreed to a deal, and I like fucking gasped and got sad because now as a Mets fan, I'm dreaming of Juan Soto in fucking Flushing. That's how fucking sick it is. And they were just talking about like a 1-year deal for like what 17 million or whatever it was. Pete gets 7.4 million again. Bump up another million for when he wins the home run derby because he's just gonna do it if he fucking wants to. And then I guess Bassett was the only one who couldn't come to terms heading in arbitration. Rich Bassett's like, man, I went from the fucking A's to the Mets, and I still got to go to arbitration. What the fuck, man?
I'm happy. Like, I mean, I saw Diaz signed a day or two ago.
Yep.
Avoided any drama with Pete. I hate arbitration drama, and I just got to give a shout out to the Chicago White Sox out here literally nickel and diming their top players for $50,000. I feel for you boys because we used to be there. We used to be that guy. We used to be, tooth and nail fighting for every penny for our franchise player. And I feel for you guys. White Sox Dave, I weep because now is your time. And I don't know what the White Sox have done. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but they have just decided to stop going for it altogether and fight over $50K. $50,000.
The Sons of Uribe was formed
under Uribe. Fuck you, Clem.
Hey, it was formed under three very basic principles. One was being like the little brother in town to like the older brother who like got the big brother who got all the like the hubbub. And this was during the playoffs when we were playing the Cubs, obviously. Two was about that beautiful coke can dick man Juan Uribe, obviously, who we all love. And three was always having that cheap ass owner who did the half measure and could never fucking do it. And I'm telling you right now. And listen, I love White Sox, Dave. I love White Sox fans, and I know you and him have a beef here. I don't want to be on the ban list like you are.
I'm on the list. Listen, between Reinsdorf and me, you got to pick right now, Clem. Whose side are you on?
This is it, though, Kev. I would never make Mets fans choose between Wilpon or me because they are hostages amongst us. Sure. This is what's going to happen, though. Giolito, whoever all these guys that are getting like shit canned or getting fucked by the arbitration, they're going to become free agents. And Uncle Stevie, I'm telling you, at the top of every free agent list, every single fucking year, it's going to be ex-Angels, ex-Reds, ex-White Sox. Everyone that voted against him is going to have a target on their back in a good way. The fucking players are going to be like, all right, I can go to the Mets and get 10% more than any other offer because he's going to say, go fuck yourself. I'll pay the Cohen tax because now you're paying the Cohen tax of crossing me.
What I love is Dave and Cohen have a lot more in common than they'd ever really realize. Like, I'm sure Cohen has a bunch of Ace of Spades bottles with Reinsdorf's name and the White Sox name engraved in it because he's a spiteful motherfucker too, and he's motivated by grudge. So maybe those two can find some peace one day. If we could, especially with some of the players that the White Sox have amassed, if we've got a target, if we got them in the crosshairs and we're signing ex-White Sox, I'd be a happy fucking man.
I'm keeping an eye on Luis Robert for 2027. Just pencil that in.
Yo, speaking of Luis, Luis Rojas is he's going to be like the GM of some Dominican League team.
He just went from the Yankees to some Dominican League team.
I thought it was something.
You sure it was the same Luis Rojas?
I thought I saw something right before I came on. Hang on.
I'm telling you, man.
Supposed to be like the third base coach for the Yankees, or whatever.
I'm pretty sure he's the third base coach for the Yankees.
When we named him Luis Diamond because he was the bastard child of Felipe Alou, and Diamond is the bastard name for baseball player for like Game of Thrones. That was one of our best moments. It was such a little underrated thing, but
it says Yankees coach Luis Rojas will be the next Escondido Baseball Club GM.
Huh. Good for him.
I hope that's Frank's favorite team in the Dominican League, and I hope he's losing his fucking mind about it right now. Luis Rojas, I can't believe it. We're gonna go 0-162 this year. By the way,
what is Frank doing now? I mean, what could Frank possibly say about Cohen now? He hates the masks. He hates like everything that Frank has hated. Steve has come along and helped him with. It's crazy.
Frank, I saw the message on my timeline about how the Mets were going to win 30 games because the mask mandate and this, that, and that. I told him, Frank, had a good winter. I smashed the mute button. It is officially baseball season when Frank the Tank no longer appears in my timeline. But I did see that the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill, and Dolphins fans are fucking dancing in the streets. Jets fans are crying in the beer. And Frank goes, all right, now it's Tua has to deliver or else it's nothing. Frank, just enjoy having a fucking freak show wide receiver core of two of the fastest humans I've ever seen in my life together. So that's Frank the Tank time. We'll deal with him. This is not Frank the Tank hour here. We are not going that.
This is a Frank-free space every week here on We Gotta Believe.
I'll tell you who's on the fucking shit list, though, in the Frank, which is usually the Frank list. Bill James ranked his pitchers. There was a million rankings of pitchers from MLB. They kept like tweeting them out, but it was all these. I'm like, come up with one list. I don't need to see the same fucking like layout from different people. You know,
what I mean? Here's the fans list. Here's Brian Kenny's. Here's Harold Reynolds or something. Like, we give us the one like shredder list. That's all I care about. This guy's a fucking idiot.
Bill
what
James.
The fuck is this?
So Bill James,
what is this?
People that can't see on YouTube, Bill James top 10 starting pitchers. Number 1, Max Scherzer. Number 2, Burns. 3, Fried. 4, Bueller. 5, Degrom. 6, Ray. 7, Cole. 8, Urias. 9, Wheeler. 10, Suarez.
Like Bill James, like the guy that spurred Moneyball eventually, and like the big statistician guy is like, how do you look at Jacob's numbers, what are fucking video game numbers, and then you somehow put him 5?
Listen, the only knock is that he's got to stay on the field. Otherwise, if you're talking about analytics, if you're talking about the eye test, if you're talking about velocity, a repertoire, like, I mean, this is insane. This is fucking insane. This is insane. This is like ranking LeBron James in his prime as like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is like Skip Bayless when he goes like, "Oh, I have LeBron 10th all time" or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, this is because Bill James is 100,000 years old and he's losing whatever shred of notoriety he once had, and he needs to get his name back out there. What was it? 2 was Burns, 3 was Fried. What? What?
Bill James fell off. There was an old Bill James tweet a few years ago where he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I bet everybody had like a future Hall of Famer living on their block growing up or something."
Yes. Yes. Dude, I remember Coley Mick tweeting that. Let me try to find that exact wording, because that was one of the most bizarre tweets of all time.
Like, oh, Bill James grew up across the street from Mickey Mantle. No wonder he just sees all these baseball players in scrubs.
That was so fucking funny. Let me try to find that. That was really one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, where he was like, that's not that strange. Everybody had that on their block. So, no, but I mean, come on, that list.
Yeah.
By the way, like, what's that?
Is it also blatant disrespect to Shane Bieber and the Indians? Like, you're leaving a guy off who's been like one of the best pitchers in baseball for 3 years. So
what I will say though, this is nice when you, no matter what somebody making a troll list does, they're still putting one of your guys one.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Like, you can't even fuck the Mets out of a number 1 spot if you're trying right now. So
I got the Bill James tweet here. It goes, what major league player lived in your neighborhood when you were a kid? And what do you remember about him? And then this guy, Matt H. Duchesne, says, who the fuck has major league players living in their neighborhood? What a wild question. And then Bill James goes, I'll bet 70% of my followers had some major league player living in their neighborhood when they grew up. And then that's
major league baseball players. There's like a fraction of them in this world. It's absolutely insane.
You grew up with a minor league baseball player in your block. Like, that's incredible. Like,
and that's like, he had to be talking about minor leaguers, right? Like, he couldn't, like, he had to be like anyone who's ever like been drafted or something.
Even
like
that,
right?
Like, there was one dude in my town who was drafted like in the 500th round to the Twins, and it was like the biggest deal in the world, and he never even sniffed the majors. There's no way 70%. That's one of the worst tweets ever, man. That guy is such a fucking kook.
Almost 70% of his followers are in the Dominican.
Right, seriously. That's the only fucking way, man. I mean, that list... Did he defend it at all, or any further tweets?
I don't think he ever defended it.
No, I don't
Well,
think so.
he had to be blocked either way.
Meek revealed last episode that he's blocked by John Heyman. And I was like, that is a tough one. And all he did, you corrected a typo too, right?
Yeah, like 5 years ago. So
anytime I write anything that could be even perceived as like aggressive to like Schefter or someone, I like do with like when I open like, oh fuck, please don't.
Oh yeah, I won't like I'll like say something about Woj and then I'll delete it after 5 minutes because like I know e-names are just like I can't lose these guys. These are all I have. Like I can't say a bad word about Jeff Basson.
Yeah, at this point, getting blocked by Bill James is a good thing. I got blocked by Chipper Jones because I kept saying how he's a Sandy Hook truther, and I fucking hate that motherfucker. I hate Chipper Jones so much. Which did you see the comments he made about Freddie Freeman, where he's like he's gonna regret it going out to LA? It's like Chipper, shut the fuck up, man.
Let me just give you a discount after I just won you a World Series and I've been the fucking face of the franchise for a decade. Like, yeah, he got raked over the coals. Chipper would have left too,
dude. You know what he's not gonna regret? That move, going to LA, playing with a fucking bomb squad team for a franchise that wants him while he's already got his ring. Like, fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. Going back to the list, obviously. So the fifth best pitcher in baseball pitched the other night, and it was an absolute delight watching Jacob Degrom fucking just casually throw. Granted, like I imagine we were all like a little worried, after he leaves the game, comes out all right, but hit 99. And did you see that thing where Scherzer told him to lead off the inning with a curveball, and he threw it? And I was like, that is a mean ass.
I mean,
that's bully ball.
Reminds me of like MJ shooting free throws with his eyes closed, and like Larry Bird shooting with his offhand. When you get like so good, and you and your buddy are on another level where it's like, well, we're obviously gonna win this game, so let's have a little bit of fun here too. If it's gonna be like that this season, if it's gonna be dominant and fun, this is going to be one of the best years ever. Even like, let me say this. I want to continue to temper my expectations and what fans think of me, because people think I'm thumping my chest like the Mets are the front runner to win the World Series. They're not. I do not think that. I think we still have a long way to go. But watching those two guys operate back to back, hopefully if everyone's healthy all year long, is going to be one of the most enjoyable things we've ever watched as baseball fans. So wherever we end up in the playoffs, in the World Series, not in the playoffs, not in the World Series, watching those two operate like this is going to be awesome and cherish every second of it.
Even just seeing those two in the dugout, just like right next to you, laughing it up, like that's otherworldly.
That's so cool. It's like an all-star game, a moment happening every fucking week for you.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So don't take that shit for granted. I'm still so mad about this list. I'm going to go fucking tweet and write emails and shit to Corbin Burns and Max Fried and be like, what do you guys think about this list? Because there's no fucking way those guys, if I want some beat reporters in Atlanta and in
Milwaukee
to ask them, be like, did you see this list? Because I think they would be like, what? No. Like, DeGrom is the GOAT. That's ridiculous. Nobody else would stick over that list, even the guys on that list. And Scherzer is the only one who, like, you could maybe sort of kind of make an argument, but not really.
Hey, I'm just gonna be like tweeting, apologize. He's gonna be like, what? Apologize for what's this fucking asshole doing tweeting at me every start? It's like it's your fault.
You know what?
And like,
I will do that. I you know what? Okay. This is my promise to you. I'm gonna go Rico Bosco on Bill James. I am going to tweet at him every single day to apologize for this list until he addresses it. Every day of my life.
Send an angry letter to his mailbox. Maybe it accidentally ends up at Ted Williams' like grandkid.
Is it Bill James Online? Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
The fact that he has online in his name is just like, yeah, you ancient asshole.
He was there when the internet was invented, so he's like, I'm going to get this one first.
Like, he was thinking to himself, like, well, I am Bill James in real life, and this is me on the interweb, so I have to assure people that I'm online here.
You could have been like Bill and James AOL.
Yeah.
Last year when DeGrom was making his rehab starts and he just kept coming up against that Cardinals team and just fucking blowing
Yes,
like, leave us alone. That's how I imagine this season going, because you have professional batters who are now going to have to get faced back-to-back, DeGrom and Scherzer. That's got to be the most demoralizing. Every team that goes into town when they're going back-to-back, I guarantee by the end of the series, like all those batters are in a slump. Now you have to deal with the mind fuck of, I just struck out 8 times in 2 games. What am I doing with my life? And then I liken it to, like, Jurassic Park 2, when the one has the guy in his mouth and he throws him to the other one, they just rip him apart.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're going to witness every single weekend. It's just going to be tearing their heart out. And I can't wait.
Chris Bassett. There are people like, oh, thank God, Chris Bassett and his like 3 ERA are like reprieve from hell.
This is when the Nationals had Scherzer and Strasburg when they were both pumping back to back, like that on steroids.
And got to shout out our guy here, our friend Tomas Nido. The stat they flashed the other day. Degrom has a 1.59 ERA when Nido catches him, and that's in 113 innings pitched. That's not like 25 innings. 113 innings pitched, 1.59 ERA. Nido should be his catcher every single time he takes the bump for the rest of both of their careers.
Especially when you don't have a good catcher.
Yeah,
like if you have some like amazing stick and like an all-star player behind the plate, but like let fucking Meek catch if Jacob Degrom.
Yeah, if I catch Jacob Degrom, he'll probably have a 2 ERA at worst.
Let Nido because the alternative also sucks. So let Nido ride, man.
Yeah, let Nido ride.
He had a tight back, or he was just like saving face. He probably walked to the dugout, looked at the lineup, and was like, "You're not fucking catching me." Back's kind of tight.
No fucking way, pal.
So, and you tweeted this out the other day, Kyle. We got our first look at the lineups there. I'll tell you, it's not the prettiest looking lineup. It's the rotation that's gonna really get the plums juicing up there for me. But the lineup right now, I'm starting to like. I don't really know if I truly want Conforto back, but the lineup, this was projected opening day. You guys tweeted out at Gotta Believe Pod. Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. Sweet. Cano 5, that motherfucker. Canna, Escobar, McNeil, McCann. That second half of the lineup is just
that's why McNeil,
one name.
That's why McNeil is so important
because
like if he can bounce back, that you stretch that top half like that much further, and it really makes a big difference. But if he sucks again, 5 through 9 is just woo.
I just don't want to run into a situation where every single game we have a brand new looking lineup. I fucking hate that. Say it's old baseball, I don't care. Like when the guys aren't hitting in the same spot in the lineup week after week, they can't get a flow. They can't get a sense of like what they're supposed to be doing.
Dude, one of my favorite things to watch ever. Yeah. The same way I said cherish watching Degrom and Scherzer pitch. One of my favorite things ever was that 06 team.
Yes.
Watching that same top half of the lineup all day, every day. Reyes, LaDuca, Beltran, Wright, Floyd, or Delgado, whatever it was. It was just every day, and they raked. And like even good teams now don't seem to have that with analytics and whatnot. But this team is going to be. I think it'll take a little while to find a lineup that even works. First of all, let alone if they stick to it with analytics and everything. But we're going to need another bat and a big surprise in that cluster 5 through 9.
You go, Phil.
The main thing I don't like about it is that we still don't have that much power. Like outside of Pete and Eduardo Escobar, I guess, like our lineup, like how many guys can hit like 25 home runs in this line besides the two? I don't think anybody else can.
Well, how sickening was that last year? I know you tweeted it out a bunch of times. Like you look at the Braves, like every single player on the Braves.
Their whole infield had 30 home runs basically, and then there was us with like, Jonathan VR is like 19 or something.
When Jonathan VR was your second most powerful hitter, like major problem. Literally everyone on the Braves hits 30 home runs. Every single player. And that's the way the league is constructed now. And so, and it's not like also, by the way, we have like, we don't have a lot of power. We just have a bunch of guys who bat like 350. No, that's not it either. We just have bad hitters. So
at least in this case, we may have like Marte steal a bunch of bases, Marcana get on base a lot. Like we have better players, I think, than last year, but like in the power department, it still is lacking. And you're going to need bounce back from like Dom and like Cano probably to like get that surge up.
He needs to hit fucking 25 home runs.
Yeah.
There's no world where a 42-year-old should be the DH if he's not Nelson Cruz.
Right.
And that's the thing. I think if you take that lineup and you say, all right, that McNeil is the old McNeil. You say that Cano is Dom fucking Smith if he's mashing. Dom Cohen is fucking rising. And then, because like I could already see like Eduardo Escobar, that's a name of someone that I can learn to hate very quickly. A guy like Marcana who was on the A's and like did awesome and now he's in the big city sucks. I can see how I've seen this story a bunch of times with the old Mets. I'm just saying, like, as my Mets brain, I'm sniffing out where the problems are going to be. And that second half of the lineup has a bunch of them. Robbie Cano is my enemy.
Let's do that. Let's go around. Who is the player right now who you think will suck and you'll hate, because I know mine for sure is Mark Canha. For sure. No doubt in my mind, that will be a guy that I say inappropriate things about that I genuinely regret as a person, where I feel the need to apologize to him and his family. No doubt about it. That guy is gonna stink. It has Mets bust written all over it, and I hope I eat my words, but that's the guy I'm looking out for.
It's still going to be hard for me to top like James McCann. Like, he set the bar too high last year for me. Like, we're paying a backup catcher $10 million. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think I can hate a player more than him.
No, yeah, he is. He it's not going to be a new one by any means, but he is a solid one to for sure have on the list. Clem, who you got?
I mean, it's like the Aaron Loop thing, which I was dead wrong. I hated Aaron Loop. I said how we have to fix him. I wanted to reverse his name, Puel. I wanted to name him Aaron Puel. Canha has the name. He has the pedigree with the A's, and then he has like the low batting average. It's going to drive people nuts, even though it shouldn't. Like, it's a different game now. I'm there with you. I hope I'm wrong. I think Kyle said he's a foodie, right? So he'll be like on mine too. So if I have to see his shit and he's not hitting, I'm going to go crazy. So I'm going to Canha is on the watch list right now.
He looks and feels like a Michael Kadire type of signing.
Yes.
It's like the fucking guy you stick in right field. Kadire was a magician. Like, he's just got that weird, quirky thing where you're like, this is the guy that was made to hate. How many random corner outfielders have the Mets gotten over the years that have been a total bust?
Yep.
Where you're like, I mean, I'm not even going to bring up who from Canada.
The curse of Burnett's. It's the curse of Burnett's.
Jeremy Burnett's, Jason Bay, Mo Vaughn. I mean,
Daniel Part 2. Yeah. Oh my God.
Kadire, I respect. I will always respect Michael Kadire retiring out of nowhere. I was on my way to the hospital for my kid's mom to be induced to give labor, and he retired, and she was like literally putting the bag on her shoulder and walking out the door. And I'm sitting there, Michael Kadire retires. And she was like, you ready to go? And I was like, yeah, one second. And she was like, are you blogging? And I was like, you don't understand. Michael Kadire just retired out of nowhere. I got to do this right now. She's like, we're going to give birth right now. And I was like, but Michael Kadire retired. That was one of the best moves. I've always said, if I was one of those guys, I think I'd be like, I'm just going to leave. I don't want to do this. The fans hate me. No one's happy. I'm just gone. Just see you fucking later. That was as bad as he was. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Respect. But yeah, man. Canha, Cano, McCann. There's some names that are just like, oh, you might hate half this team.
Canha got ranked 9th best right fielder in the entire league, and like, I don't need those type of predictions before.
I don't need that at all.
He'd be the no-name guy that no one's paying attention to, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, he's hitting 260. Like, that's pretty solid. That's all I need.
mean, listen, if he's one of the top 10 players at his position, God bless. But I could just see that being like, ugh. Every time he's up, it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, Eduardo Escobar, it's one of those things. There's like the same, when you have the same letter for both names, it's just like with there's certain base. Yeah, that's just bad juju. And you mentioned one of them before. We got to shout out the LR boys. They've both landed in new homes, and I wish them truly nothing but the best. VR's in with the Cubs. Pilar went to the Dodgers on, I believe, a minor league deal. So, other than when they face us, I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they rake. I'm thrilled that, I think Carl's the perfect guy for Jonathan VR too, because he's gonna love him when he does the good stuff, and when he does the fucking idiotic shit that drove us nuts. Carl's gonna go Cody Parkey.
Jonathan VR running the bases was one of the worst things I've ever seen in sports. In sports history, that dude just didn't understand the concept of running around the bases and how to do it at all.
He thought he was invincible. As simple as that.
I feel like I wish him nothing but the best. Clem does. I feel like Meek is not a big fan of the Alars.
Yeah, I hated Kevin Pilar. VR I liked. He was actually a good player. Kevin Pilar, he would have been cut by July if he didn't get hit face. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's on the Dodgers right now to see him.
That's true. The Kev had the fucking face mask that he would throw on for the rally face mask. It was magical, but that getting your face broken was the best thing that probably happened to him, because they were like, we can't get rid of this guy. The entire fan base will revolt, other than Phil, who was fucking actively.
Other than me, who literally just kept screaming like he should get DFA'd. He got hit in the face. Like he's terrible.
Kyle, you said that Kadire is a magician. Was he like a literal magician?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. He did like
I mean, like his birthday party magician, like high level magic, and I'm like,
yes.
who the fuck has time to learn that?
Like he was
a baseball player. Get in the batting cage.
He was like in that group of people with Joe Bluth, like the Illusion Crew. Like that's the kind of like he was like professional shit.
Yes.
Okay.
I
hate Michael
Garrett. It's an illusion. It's not a trick. It's something a whore does for money. A literal magician. That guy. He sucked.
I never would have thought I hated Michael Goddard more than I did when I woke up this morning.
I forgot to tell you guys the story. I'm going to tell you guys the story. So, I got put in contact with none other than our boy Jay Bruce. And he's actually getting down with Barstool Outdoors and working with Sydney. He's in the business of like a duck calling product that he has like the only patent for in America or something like that. He's going to be like the king of duck calling or some shit. I don't know. Some crazy outdoor stuff. But just so we can like kind of clear his name because he's a good dude, we were texting and he was like, I guess he found out I was a Mets fan and he was like, oh, so you've probably said some pretty bad things about me, huh? And I was like, not gonna lie, maybe a couple times here and there. And he was like, totally deserved it, man. I totally get it. Like he was so understanding about it. He knew the deal. He understood exactly what went down here. So I mean, he was my console king. There was like 2 or 3 years in a row where his at bat was like the console, and I was like, whether it was on the team or against,
he was against us. You console, he had to walk up and against us.
Phillies.
Yeah. He was either like somehow ruining us or beating us. He was the console king, and so either way, I was usually like, "Fuck Jay Bruce." So he definitely understands how it all went down. So shout out to him.
To leave and come back too, like you're just a glutton for punishment.
Oh,
we trade him to the Indians. They go on that historic run where they win 1 million games, and he has the walk-off hit. And I'm sitting there like, this guy was hitting like 100 for us, and then they get him back after the heater, and then he sucks again. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And when he was on the Phillies, I mean, there's just certain things that just have like gonna get fucked in the ass written all over it, and Jay Bruce is one of those.
And Jay Bruce is one of those guys too. Like with Mets fans, it's very hard when you have a guy that's super hot and super cold. That's just the way he is. And he came in and was cold right away. Like you're basically dead to us. Like, you might as well stop swinging the bat after like the first week. We're gonna hate you no matter what you do. And I was one of those people. I would be interested to see if you guys. I thought Dilson Herrera was like future All-Star, like multiple time, 3-time All-Star.
Bro, Dilson Herrera was supposed to be like, like a staple for, a decade to come. God damn it.
Yep. And Dilson Herrera right now hasn't played since 2020 with the Orioles. He had 5 at-bats.
And to make it better, the reliever we got for Jay Bruce, that 2017 deadline, he's on the Rangers now. He had a 5 ERA in AAA last year. He's 26, so we got a good player out of that.
Well, shout out Jay Bruce. For some reason, I have Jay Bruce is always linked in my brain as being associated with the dildo picture, but it's TJ Rivera was the one with the crown. It was Kevin Plawecki's locker. I don't know how. I think Jay Bruce might have brought the crown into the locker room. I don't know how it is, but I always have Jay Bruce and that giant black dildo associated together.
You guys like those gimmicks, like the crown and the belt and the.
I feel like every team does it now. It's hard to be like unique in that aspect.
It's like when you're winning, it's fine. When you're losing, you look like big dumb assholes. It's really feast or famine with that.
That's why you gotta like Buck, because if they come in with that, he's gonna be like, get that shit out of here.
Yeah. I hope, but I don't know. I feel like those are things these days that it's like pick your battles, because you're gonna tell Francisco Lindor that he can't wear the fucking hat or some shit like that.
Did you ever see the video of Buck for the Orioles? They were pranking one of the relievers or starting pitchers had that wheel that people ride in the city that I'm so surprised they don't get smoked by cars, but like the electronic wheel that you could ride.
Yeah.
They were doing a feature on this guy and he's riding it, and Buck's in on the whole joke, and he's a good actor, and he comes out and he's like, the fuck are you doing? And the reporter's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he looks at the picture. He's like, isn't this a contract year for you? Like, do you really think that's a good fucking idea? Like, shouldn't you be running polls? And just walked away. It's like, I feel like he has that little bit of like playfulness where like maybe he's in on it, but at the same time, there's no way he likes that.
Dude, it's got to be hard being a manager at 162 games. Like, you gotta like loosen up a little bit and have some fun over the course of like 9 months of baseball. It's so fucking long,
Yeah. The thing about those crown things too is I will say, like, usually it's when you're winning, so everything feels good when you win. But like there are times where you're right away, you're like corny as fuck, right?
Seeing the crown where like 52 and 70, that gets a little annoying. Yeah,
exactly.
The crown or like the Donnie whatever and like the little gimmicks, just like Oh, guys, not now. Not now.
I like the team travel party when they go on the road trips and they pick
There's some classic things that always kind of work. You know, the rookies dressing up and that kind of shit. You don't need to add more to it.
And like Kyle said, we now have an actual manager with a brain and knows what the fuck he's doing, been around the block, so everything will be good. He had the voodoo bucket line the other day. I don't know if you guys did the drink, which I was that sounds like I could like feel the heartburn going down as like you're drinking it in fucking like some Florida shitty bar. And then Craig Bjornson, we got a video of him. He was in his power stance right there. He's an absolute electric factory. I don't know if we mentioned, I think we talked about some of the Mets coaches when Buck got hired, but I just want to go through because a couple people were hitting me up and being like, do you guys know like this guy, that guy? All right. First of all, Craig Bjornson, we have to get him on the podcast because he's the guy who was like flipping off Yankee fans when I think he was like the Astros pitching a bullpen coach. Our bench coach is Glenn Sherlock, A+ baseball name. I don't know anything about Glenn Sherlock other than every time I hear him, like that guy's probably a really good coach.
Glenn Sherlock sounds like a name from like the early 90s.
Yep.
He played with like Mickey Morandini or some shit. Glenn Sherlock, absolute baseball royalty.
The hitting coach is Eric Chavez, which we stole him from the Yankees. He was the assistant hitting coach, and then we just snagged him, gave him a promotion. So like cool for days with me, and obviously
handsome motherfucker. Yep.
And he mashed on those A's teams back. I think it was the Moneyball A's he was on, right? So nothing but love for him, other than losing the fucking Yankees every year. Hefner back as pitching coach, like A++. Right. He made me like he was the only guy I liked last year. Wayne Kirby. I don't know if you guys have seen Wayne Kirby, but again, A+ baseball name, and he looks like an RBI baseball player.
Let me see him.
Kyle, can you pull up a picture of him? He looks absolutely. He looks. And then our third base coach is Joey Cora, which again, like the Cora family, like made
Love
for
the
baseball.
Yep.
You can't get Alex, get Joey. German.
Let me see this guy.
He's straight off of a 90s baseball card.
Yes, exactly. And Wayne Kirby's an A+ name too, so it's really.
And what is he? What coach is he?
First base. So this is the guy that's going to be there, giving the pounds as the guys get on.
Pats on the ass, holding the wrist guards,
throwing stuff to the fans. In the
oh yeah! Oh yeah! Sign me up for this guy. Hell yeah. Buck and Wayne, the dynamic duo. They're like a wrestling duo from the 90s. Let's fucking Wayne. That's amazing with the glasses too. Oh, baseball glasses like that are so fucking awesome. They are so absurd. Look at that. Nice round belly. Let's go. Let's play ball, man.
Wayne Kirby, your fucking favorite team's first base coach.
He was a Met.
Oh shit, he was a Met. He was fucking pretty stout back in the day too.
What is this?
That was during the black hat, it looks like too. So must have been during the black jersey era. So, yeah, nothing but love. And then if shit hits the fan and we need to find another coach, another manager, we have, a line with the most electrifying fucking manager in all of baseball, and that's overseas. Our boy Yoshi Shinjo has officially changed to register his name in the Japanese league to Big Boss. So he goes by whatever the fuck Big Boss is in Japanese. That's what they call him on the team. It's not like his like name, but his baseball name
in the Japanese league.
I didn't know you could even
Wait a minute. We need to adopt this. We need to have registered names in Major League Baseball. That is amazing. You can like an official. It's not your legal name. It's your baseball name. I love that. That is something we should all have. You can put it on the back of your jersey. Big Boss Shinjo. He probably is like a god over there, right?
He fucking dresses like it.
Oh, hell yeah.
He looks like a K-pop like singer.
Yeah. He's a superstar, man. Shinjo was electric.
All-time moment. Those orange wristbands that was like one of the giveaways one year. Literally, those things were.
Shinjo and Ku were just, absolute superstars.
Today was the 21 year anniversary of Randy Johnson hitting the bird. So I went to look up an old blog.
Today is
21 years since
that is one of the best moments in sports history. I don't think people give that enough respect as to how absurd it is. Who was on the mound, how it happened, the way that bird exploded. It's a great moment in human history.
You see that fastball coming, and then it just turns into fucking feathers. It's like Thanos when he fucking like has the reality stone and just changes shit whenever he wants. It's like mind blowing, and you just see him back away. The umpire is pretty funny too. But then as I was looking for that, I was looking for an old blog that I had done. I guess it got dev nested because I couldn't find it, because I think he started a photography company called like Dead Bird Inc. or whatever. That was Randy Johnson's like photography company. But I found Mr. Koo's wild ride around the bases, an all-time moment.
And great job. I think Howie, there's a call of Howie on that. That's amazing. That was one of the funnest moments as a Met fan ever. Running the bases in your jacket is just amazing. Something we'll never see again. That's it. We'll never see that again. And that's another reason why I like the DH is stupid things like running the bases in your windbreaker jacket. Never to happen ever again.
I will say this too, like, I don't know if it's because of the pitcher batting. It always felt like the National League was more absurd than the American League. And I like
always silliness.
I do not need baseball to be this like perfectly great, fair sport. No. I like a little bit of, I like the strategy and I like the silliness. Those are the two things, and they're completely different from each other, but it is part of the fucking game, Susan. So I personally love it. But
do you think we see a pitcher hit for the Mets this year?
Say it again?
Do you think we see a pitcher hit for the Mets this year? Like, I can see Degrom getting a pinch.
There's going to be some stupid scenario where we see it happen at least once.
Let's maybe we'll see if we can do that with Westy. Over under 0.5 pitchers hitting this year. I mean, I would say if there's a long extra innings game, but with the runner on second, it's probably not going to happen. But if there is. Don't do that. Don't put because DeGrom will bat once, and it'll be when he gets injured,
and they'll tell us how it had nothing to do with it. It's like, dude, the one fucking time he bat, it's like
we got it when he was sitting on the bench or something. It's like, no, it happened when he was batting. We know.
And then the last thing here, by the way, so yeah, Shinjo Electric. I hope he comes here at some point. Keep the name Big Boss. It's almost like at Barstool where you get like your fucking Barstool name, and you still have like your real name though outside of fucking 9 to 5. Francisco Alvarez, 20 years old, looks like a fucking brick shit house.
He's
man.
Thick, dude. He's a big boy. I was not expecting that. 5'10", 240. It's like a fucking fullback, man.
And it's like, when they always say, like, because I think, his bat is so good, like, you try to move him out of catcher, like, you can't move that guy out of catcher. There's nowhere else he can play on the fucking diamond.
All he can do is just squat back there, man.
Oh, God. So,
when will we see him? Like, there's no chance this year?
Maybe like a 5% chance this year? We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's maybe 3 catchers get injured and we see him. Never know.
I mean, I was like, if he is even somewhat ready, once McCann is just the worst, if there's a chance, I would give it a shot. You can always send him back down, whatever.
I feel like Uncle Steve, like,
God.
No, I feel like Uncle Stevie, like, he won't like try to like, he'll be, if they say he's ready to come up, he'll bring him up. He won't try to play games with him and all that shit.
Bullshit with
service time.
Yeah, but I also don't think that they're gonna want to bring him. I feel like this front office is gonna be very like.
Well, if the Mets were like somehow one piece away or something and you thought he was that good, but there's really no reason to rush him because it's not like this is our World Series year, like World Series or bust, might as well let him continue his track. Also, I'm so fucking done with overhyping prospects to the point that it probably is a negative effect on them. Don't make it any fucking harder to be a MLB superstar than it is, guys. We put so much pressure on these kids.
And then hype up prospects to other teams so that way the other teams overvalue them. Be like,
yes, that's the way.
That goddamn Joe DeMayo. It's all his fault. I just love Joe DeMayo's name. It's someone you could just feel like you just had motherfucker Joe DeMayo. It's like, what's Kramer's friend? Joe Sacamano?
Yes. That's
like,
exactly
Joe DeMayo. Same kind of vibe. Shout out Joe, friend of the program. We love him. And then we'll wrap things up here talking about Mets fucking prospects and players. We got our Mets trivia. The first one, Kev, was Ike Davis. We got into an Ike Davis debate at the end. It was a doozy. You were an Ike guy, right, Kev?
I was unfortunately a night guy, yes.
That makes it unanimous. All 4 of us we're all fucking stupid. Lucas Duda,
man. It was the boot. They fucked him when he put him in that boot, and he wasn't supposed to be wearing a boot.
Yep.
He's walking around with a broken foot in a boot when he shouldn't have been for like 3 months. Of course he's never.
I didn't know that was the case. We had Valley Fever. Oh my god.
Yeah, he had Valley Fever and a boot issue. There, he was in the boot, and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is not the type of injury that you need a boot for." It was a disaster.
Yeah. So I have the clues here. Let's go 1, 2, 3 like this. This player played at both Shea Stadium and Citi Field. So 2008, 2009. That's your first hint.
Okay.
Cohen.
Luis Castillo.
No.
Mike Cameron.
No.
Just go next.
Third hint, he played for 2 other NL East teams.
So bad at shit.
It could be anything. Let's just ship everybody off to the rest.
I know. That's an incestual division, it feels like.
The third one's going to give it away. He flew on a plane with a concussion.
Oh, right.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Ryan
That-
Church, right? Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about gross malpractice, medical? Like it's like the medical malpractice. Every single week, we're gonna have like how we ended a guy's career.
If you could do a trivia run where every player has some sort of medical problem with the Mets, see how long we could go. That would be a testament to our past history.
Last week it was Valley Fever.
Yeah, dude. The flying with the concussion was one of the that was in the
To
Mets.
Denver.
To a place where your brain like is also extra fucked up.
We were a bunch of Ray Ramirez apologists last year, apologizing to the guy, but the boot and this just now makes me. He's been shitty at his shot.
All right, fuck you, Ray. Like that juju did us no good last year, as we saw, right?
Real.
Last year was a low key, like crazy. I forget about it now. The amount of injuries we had last year, which got the LR boys into the lineup every day, it was absolutely
60-something players on the roster at one point.
It was like an all. I think didn't they have the all-time most players used?
Yep.
Franchise history, yes.
Yeah,
not major league history, but franchise, yes.
Crazy.
I would have bet my life. I loved Ryan Church. I thought he was going to be awesome. I was that was he kind of after what's his name? Nady got traded away. Then was he kind of like you backfilled that after Alou left? Was Church going to be like the answer for us after like Alou didn't work out?
Yep, he was going to be like our great outfielder, great hitter, and then he got concussed and we shipped him off for Jeff Francoeur.
Oh God, Francoeur. The Francoeur era was a very weird time, and I kind of love Jake Francoeur. I can't lie.
Hang on one second. I think I have a Ryan Church post from For Sure Not.
Wow.
It was a Mets moment.
Is
For Sure Not still up and running? Do you still pay like the domain?
Yeah, no. Somebody stole the domain from me, but it's still like .wordpress.com you can go to. But I put it on private because there's probably a million things I said on there that could get me canceled. Yeah. But I want to say, didn't Ryan Church like miss third base or something once, like rounding the bases, and then we lost a game because he like they appealed to third, and I'm pretty sure it was Ryan Church, and it was just like the worst thing that I remember being like, this is
Ryan
it.
Church misses third base.
Is that it?
Yep.
I remember that. That was exactly it, and I'm pretty sure I have a post on the website being like, "Fuck this guy." But yeah, he missed third, and then the game was over, and it was just like.
Jerry Manuel's quote, "To me, it's just hard to miss third base."
That was a tough one. All right, boys.
So
see you Monday.
We'll see you guys Monday. Yep.
As always.
And by the way,
subscribe, like, share. We're trying to grow the YouTube here. Everything will be on video. We'll have all sorts of live streams during games this year, whatnot. So the YouTube is going to be where it's at. We still got to decide what to do with this guy. But yeah, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We Gotta Believe Pod, and make sure you follow along all on social.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.